Hey guys, and welcome to another video from the Parrot Bros. Today we're going to be doing a video on vents. So I'm going to show you how to remove the vent. I'm also going to show you just basically how a boost gauge is fitted. I'm not going to go through fitting a boost gauge. I'll just show you how they fit together in the vent and where the pipes go and stuff like that. So before we get stuck into it, let's jump into the intro. Okay, so you want to fit a boost gauge, or you want to pull these out because you maybe want to fit one of these, or maybe you want to paint these, or one of them is broken like this one. So you push it up and down and nothing happens when it should tilt all of them. So we'll be replacing this one today. Now, ideally, what you need is a trim tool, which is different ranging thicknesses of plastic, which allows you to remove things without damaging the dash. Now, I've actually lent mine to someone, unfortunately. So what I've got is a flat-headed screwdriver with a piece of tape on. And all we do is we'll take care when doing it. Now, sometimes you may not need to do this because you might just be able to pull it out. A lot of these, if you've got some fingernails, you can just get your fingers behind it just enough that it will just come out, especially once you've done it a couple of times. You get a feel for it, and you can there we go, it's come in. It doesn't help it's got the OEM mount around it because they like to come out together, so we'll pull that out together. But yeah, there you go, so it just pulls straight out. Now the OEM mount does just push over. It's a bit fiddly because of the little ribs on it. And we've got the boost gauge as well. Now, I'll just show you quickly how the boost gauge is. I've got my two cables just for the lighting, just so that when the lights turn on, that comes on, and I've got my feed for the boost pressure. And what I've actually done is, there's a couple of ways of doing it. You can keep this whole section and just take out all the internal parts and mount it, and then all you have to do is just drill a hole out of the side of this to bring the two cables and the boost pipe. Or you can do what I've done and basically remove this backing part and then mount your vent ring in. It all depends on what one you get. If I remember rightly, if you get the Cloud9 one, I've not actually seen one, but I'm taking a accurate guess that you actually just remove this trim, which we'll be doing later, and then that also, they've made it so that it actually fits in this recess quite nicely. What I'll do is I'll pop this back in, and we will take out one of the side vents because I've not actually ever taken one out before. So I'll replace this at a later date when I've got one ready. So all they do is just push back in, and you'll just sort of find them home, and that is it. So let me turn the camera. Okay, so now this one's never been out before, so I don't know how much of a fight it's going to be. Yeah, it's quite flush against the dash. So gently with your screwdriver, just pop it in and just sort of get a feel for it. And what you might want to do is you need to just pull on the screwdriver. Don't try and twist it because you don't want to damage the shoulder of the dash, but just push it in and then use your fingers from behind the screwdriver and just pull towards, and you'll eventually feel the cage, it comes out, and then get your fingers behind it, and there it goes out, and that is it. So that is the, zoom you back out then. So that is the first part out. I mean, if you've got this one, actually works. So they obviously that moves up and down, and then it moves you left and right as well, which this one actually does. Quite a lot of them don't. And also in this ring, I don't know if I can show you whilst on camera, that actually operates the flap at the back, which sometimes break as well, which obviously stops it blowing out of this one if you don't want it in your face at all. So you might want to change it for the reason that it doesn't work, or you want to put a gauge in there, or you've got a liquid gauge, one of the OBD port ones for there. And putting it back in again, just make sure with it open that the point is at the top, just to keep them nice and uniform. And then all you do is simply just push it back in, make sure you try and get it straight, and then that's it, it finds its way home and you can't get your fingers behind it again. So little tip, obviously if you don't have any trim tools, but trim tools are on eBay for about £4 or £5. They're not expensive, you can get them on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. This is just a random one that I've Googled quickly, so don't take it as I've used it, but it is just a basic set of plastic tools. Failing that, screwdriver with a bit of tape on. like I said, you're not twisting it left and right. All you're doing is putting it behind and then using your fingers to pull it away from the dash. So that is it. So what we'll do is now we'll go into the house and I will get out, show you how to get the ring off, show you how the boost gauge is fitted roughly, and also there's a couple of other little bits I wanted to go through. Okay guys, so right, we're in my office now. It's a lot easier to do on a bench. So we've got a couple of things. I mean, this is a boost gauge out of a car that someone was breaking that they gave to me. Now, these are a bit fiddly. I use just a thin flat-headed screwdriver. You may damage the plastic a tiny bit around the back, but you'll never see it and it will never be an issue. Keep remembering to put my phone on silent. Joys of being a YouTuber, right? So yeah, what you got to do is there's a small edge gap between the vent and the metal trim, and all I've found in the past, which one have I opened before? This one. So all you got to do is, I'll find a new spot, so you just try and get your screwdriver in between the metal ring and the plastic. It's quite easy, like that, and then you just, when you're in there, just work it, give it a little click and it'll just pop up. There's 3 separate tabs around it, so you might have to do it a couple of times, maybe go like 90 degrees around it and do it again. You'll feel it click and then it comes flying off. So if you were, say for instance, wanting to paint these, quite easy, give them a scotch up just to scratch up that smooth surface to give the paint something to bite to. Give them a good paint. Try and avoid painting the back edge if you can, because it may make fitting a pain in the butt later on. But apart from that, relatively simple. Now we'll go through different things as I go. Now so if we were just painting these or doing something with replacing them, maybe because they're scratched and you just want to put them back on again, there is one tab guide. I don't know if you can see it, but basically on this there's a cutout. You see there's a cutout here, and that actually correlates to this tab here. And what you've got to do is just line them up together. So I don't know if you can see that, but that tab there goes into there. Now you push it down and it won't go all the way because it starts pushing the plastic down. And what you've got to do is, yeah, it won't push in. So I normally get a screwdriver, and if you just push against the edge of one of the 3 plastic tabs, it clicks back on, and that is it. And then you can just check it still works nice and like it should. So we'll just go through that again quickly. I'll show you the tabs that you have to push against. So just wait for a click. You'll get a click. You have to just get it in the right place to get it to click. There you go, and it pops off. So there's 3. Oh no, I lied. There's 4. Excuse me. I thought there was 3. So there's one there. Then there's a gap. Then there's another one, and it has like a little shoulder on it there. That's the best way of showing you. But yeah, it has a little shoulder there, which is what this trim ring sits against, and it's what sort of keeps it on. So that's what you're pushing against. Excuse me. So line up this with this, and then push it on as best you can. You'll probably get it past 3 of the 4, and there'll be one, like this one here, where you just see that you just got to push it in just enough. It's easier if you do it on the bench, just enough to get past the metal trim, and then you can usually just give it a little tap, and that is seated again. So that is just changing the ring or painting the ring or doing whatever you want to do with that. Boost gauge wise, like I said, some people, depending on what mount you use, this one, from what I can look, I mean I haven't taken it out, but from what I can gather, it's just wedged in, or it's been glued in or something, because I've never seen it fitted like that before. But that's how they've kept the original back shroud. Not that it matters, because the air will only just blow against the back of that, so it's kind of pointless anyway. But you can remove this, but they've just drilled a hole to put the lighting cable through and the boost cable through, and there is that. Or you can do what most people do, which is one of 2 things. So again, we'll go for getting this off again. Oh, pulled the ring off this time. This one's damaged. So yeah, the Cloud9 custom ones, all you need, I believe, is this silver ring, and it mounts to a 3D printed thing they've got, which then fits really snug, like this ring would in the dash. So that's that. The other way, which is how I did mine, was you can either remove this centre bit, so you just have this outer shield, which is the way I did it, because the eBay ring I bought sits against the outer edge and between this, and you just sort of put a bit of hot glue on it and it stays there. And all you have to do is, I won't do it now because it takes a little while and it's a bit fiddly, but basically you have to just get a screwdriver behind here, and you just lift, you can just see that it comes up, you just lift that over, and you do that all the way around with 2 or 3 screwdrivers, and it just lifts it off of this. See there, it's moving. You do that a few times, and all it does is it just lifts it off of this inner base. There you go. And that comes out. It was easier than I thought. And then you just pop your boost gauge in the middle with one of them vent rings, and then that slides in nice and snug. So yeah, guys, that is just a quick video on vents and rings, in case you want to maybe paint them, fit a boost gauge, fit a liquid gauge. This one's actually going spare, so I don't know if it works because I've never used it, but if someone wants it and they're happy to cover the postage, or they want to, if they're down our way in Hertfordshire, they're welcome to pick it up. They can have it for free because it's no use to me. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. That's been another video from the Parrot Bros. Bye for now.